I'm still sick, but we're going to do part 2 to the luckiest gymnast of all time. Michaela loves gymnastics. Now, I know in part 1 of our conversation of the luckiest gymnast of all time, featuring the one and only Jordan Weber, that this conversation got really heated. This conversation got really intense. A lot of the Jordan Weber stands were like, but what about this one, and what about that one, and what about this one, and what about that one? So, okay, we're going to do a what about this one, and what about that one. Somebody said somebody who I should feature on this series of luckiest gymnasts of all time is Simona Amanar. So let's run with this. Let's all have a conversation about, do we feel like Simona Amanar is one of the luckiest gymnasts of all time? She bust on the scene in 2000. Lord forgive me. In 1994, doing a beautiful higher Chinko double twist vault, one of the best ever performed at that point in time. But she had a very weak second vault. And somebody said she's one of the luckiest gymnasts because she wasn't being deducted in having her second vault, which is known as the Phelps, which is a Sukahara on half twist layout front vault. But Simona Amanar always did her vault in the pipe position, and she wasn't being hammered on it as they feel she should, which forced her to be known as one of the luckiest gymnasts of all time because she won all these vaulting titles doing a second vault that was not correct. And gosh, me talking about it, I have to agree with it to a certain point. Like, Simona Amanar did win a lot of vaulting titles with a very horrible second vault, especially while Chusavitna was doing two 9.90 vaults perfectly. Should always have been getting scored close to the 9.9s. I guess I have to agree. Simona Amanar definitely in 1995 and in Atlanta won 1995 in Atlanta and 1997 won her world championships on vault doing a second vault not right. And yeah, it's the truth. They also mentioned that Simona Amanar is a 2000 Olympic champion because of her teammate got disqualified, which has caused her to be known as being lucky again. And I guess I can't argue that point either. Like, she was being extremely fortunate in that competition. They also mentioned that Simona Amanar was able to win I think she tied for this bronze medal with Lavinia Milosevic because they took Alexander Marinescu off both times in 1996. I'm sorry, you guys. I already told you I was sick, so this is what we're given. She was very fortunate that in 1996 and 1997 that Octavia Bellew chose her to compete in the all-around competition over Alexandra Marinescu in both of those competitions. So yeah, I guess Simona Amanar is one of the luckiest gymnasts of all times. This is supposed to be a rebuttal video, but I can't help but to agree with all the opinions that I have read so far. But this is going to be a controversial one. Shannon Miller is also one of the luckiest gymnasts of all time. Yes, that's right. I said it. Shannon Miller. Shannon Miller is lucky that, okay, first of all, she's lucky and she's one of the unluckiest because Shannon Miller was so robbed in 2000. I keep saying 2000. 1992. Shannon Miller was clearly the 1992 Olympic champion. I don't know what kind of BS they was doing for Tatiana Gusu. Her vaults was horrible. In my opinion, yes, she stuck her vaults, but her block was horrible. It should have been at least 0.2 of a point. Like, Tatiana Gusu vault should have been scored like 9.8 max. But, whatever. But why I'm going to rank Shannon Miller is one of the luckiest gymnasts of all time is because in 1993, if it was not for Dominique Dawes falling, Dominique Dawes would have been known as the 1993 world champion. In 1994, if it has not been for Dominique Dawes falling, Dominique Dawes would have won the 1994 world championships. In 1995, if Dominique Dawes was not hurt with an ankle injury or whatever injury she was going through at that time, I think she was also reconstructing her routines. I think Dominique Dawes would have had a great chance of winning the 1995 World Championships. And, Shannon Miller was also lucky that Dominique Dawes was bad at compulsories, because I think if Dominique Dawes would have been in the beam finals up against Shannon Miller, I think Dominique would have beat Shannon on beam too. Hey, even the dang on 1995 Pan American Game Championship where Shannon Miller won, I think Amy Chow should have won that competition. The 1996 Nationals, when Shannon Miller fell off beam and J.C. Phillips had the competition of her life. J.C. won that competition. Shannon Miller was lucky that they had the selection process that they had because she was hurt. She couldn't compete in the Olympic trials. And they basically selected her to be on the Olympic team when there was no selection process during that time. Again, I told you guys I was sick, so this is what we're giving. It's as much as I love Shannon Miller now that I can appreciate everything she has given to the sport, I just never was a big Shannon Miller fan. I think it was because of Steve Nuno. Shannon Miller herself is wonderful. Her coach, Steve Nuno, was a jackass. No, sorry for the kids who watching this. This is for adult viewing only. Steve Nuno was a jackass. Like, I could not stand him. I cannot stand him. I hate when the coaches overshadow the gymnasts, right? This is why I can't stand Bella. I have no issue with Marta. It's just Bella. They want it more than the damn gymnast wants it, and it just hurts. That's why I could never stand Steve Nuno, Bella Caroli. I can't stand Tom Forster now. Like, even you said everything you want to say about Marta Caroli. When she was very shy about doing the interview. She would push the girls to do the interview. She didn't want she wanted to win, but she didn't want the spotlight. But these coaches nowadays, like, yeah, Maggie Haney, I can't stand her. What happened to Mary Lee Tracy and Kelly Hill and those type of coaches who, they were popular because their gymnasts were successful. They weren't popular because they wanted to be running to do interviews and stuff. They were popular because their gymnasts were successful. And the Parkette squad, they had like 4 head coaches at Parkette. Like, yeah. So Shannon Miller definitely has to go on the list as one of the luckiest gymnasts of all times, along with Simona Amanar. I want to give you one more. Tasha Schwikert is one of the luckiest gymnasts of all times also. Tasha Schwikert is lucky because Bella Caroli solely believed in her talent by himself, where she wasn't even an alternate. The person who should have been on the 2000 Olympic team when Morgan White got hurt was, I think it was Alyssa Beckerman or something like that. Tasha Schwikert wasn't even named as an alternate. She was later on added as an alternate, and then she was chosen to be on the team ahead of everybody else. Tasha Schwikert was barely even ranked nationally. She barely made it to the Olympic trials. She was not one of the names that was thought of to be even make the Olympic team. And then she just did it. She just so happened to put it all together at the right time. And I truly believe if they would have let Tasha Schwikert vault in prelims, Tasha Schwikert would have made the all-around competition in that Olympic Games. She was, in that moment, during those 2 weeks of the Olympic Games, Tasha Schwikert was the best girl on the USA team. It's crazy to say it, but she was. She consistently in team finals had some of the highest scores for the Team USA on all the events she competed on. Yeah. If she would have been allowed to do vault and floor exercise in the prelims over Dominique Dawes, I think Tasha Schwikert would have had a chance to make it to the all-around competition. And even further than that, the way they would score her had a chance to medal in the all-around competition. Then her career, that's when her career took off. She was able to go into the 2001 Nationals being that girl. And her peak was between 2000 Olympics all the way up until 2002 when she got hurt. Tasha Schwikert is truly one of the luckiest gymnasts in Olympic history, especially on Team USA. So let me know your opinions. We're going to continue this series. After we finish the most luckiest, then we're going to go into the most unluckiest. That's going to be a separate series. We're probably going to start that in the month of December. But for the month of November, we're doing the luckiest. So in the month of December, we can start the most unluckiest, and then we can start ourselves preparing for the NCAA season. Okay, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Michaela Loves Gymnastics. Sorry for my voice. Sorry I keep coughing. I'm kind of sick. Have a cold. So see you guys in the next video. Maybe today.